multiple screens here. All right, Howie. Well, we're recording anyway, so go ahead and just tell me what you were working on here. Take it over.
Sure. So I like to execute curriculum, but I don't really enjoy building the curriculum so much. And so I'm looking for ways to make that an easier and more enjoyable experience for me in figuring out how to fill the day, how to transmit the ideas, how to put together an activity or a talk on how to take the idea and get it to the students. And so that's where I started employing AI, and I really learned a lot from the presenter for our colloquium this year in trying to craft the prompt for the question to chat or whatever AI tool that you're using. And so I don't know if you guys, how big it is for you, but I'm looking at the prompt that I do, and I built this off of kind of the idea that the presenter at colloquium said. So I start by setting the setting for what I want to do, who I am, and what audience I'm doing, and that seems to help chat form a response that is more useful. So I'm a college professor creating a curriculum for college students. I need to teach marketing strategy, and so I'm getting more and more specific in each sentence. And then I say I want to create a section on positioning. Positioning is a marketing strategy where you have identified a group of people that you want to focus on and you want to win them. In marketing, you realize you can't win everybody, and so you focus your efforts on a specific kind of people who have a specific set of characteristics, and then you design your approach directly to them. And so that's what positioning is. Positioning is designing your approach to meet the expectations and needs of the specific people you want. So I'm asking chat, what topics do the students need to know about this, and what are some good in-class activities to help them understand and use this topic? Now, I already have some idea of what I want this to say, but I want to know if one, I'm just trying to say, give me something, and if it doesn't give me what I want, I can always adjust it. But this is kind of get things started. And so anyway, this is my initial prompt to just say what needs to happen here. So then I move on, and it starts to give me something. It says key topics to cover. So it starts designing these things, the definition of positioning, doing positioning statement, the perception mapping, and so on. And I'm like, oh, good. This is a lot of the topics that I was hoping it would tell me. This is great. Now, at this point, I actually found something that I wasn't happy with. If you go back to the very beginning, under the definition of positioning, the number one topic there, definition of positioning. It says positioning is the process of defining how a product or service should be perceived by the target market competitors, and it involves creating a unique identity in the minds of the consumers. Is that what I want to say? Right. Okay. So I got this answer from chat, and I'm actually not satisfied with this. Positioning is more than you going out and getting a message to the parties that you're marketing to and getting them to change their minds. That's too narrow a position, or too narrow an idea of positioning. And so I go and I argue. I'm basically arguing with chat. And here's my next prompt. Does positioning only involve creating a spin so consumer perceptions are manipulated, or can the company actively adapt its product to the consumer? I actually know the answer to this. That positioning is A, changing the consumer to more closely match your product, and B, changing your product to more closely match your consumer. Positioning involves both of those things, but chat only gave me the first definition. I wanted more. And so in this prompt, I'm actually doing a couple of things. I'm arguing with chat for the purpose of it giving me more content that I can use that better meets what I want it to, and bringing in this other component to it. And then two, I'm actually actively adding judgment words. So I'm putting this word spin in and the word manipulated in. It's interesting to me in the responses that chat gave me that chat picks up on my judgment words and uses them to craft its response. So its response then says that positioning goes beyond just creating a spin, and so then it gives me a full description of two main approaches to positioning. One is perceptual positioning, and it's using my word spin. And then the other is number two, adaptive or product-based positioning, where you change your product to meet the customer. And it really unfolds. It really adds body to both of these ideas and allows me now to take this messaging to my class in a rounded way. Again, I could have talked through this myself, but it's nice for me. It's nice to use chat to help me add body to these ideas and create a curriculum, or create the talking points that I want. And then beyond this, okay, so it's describing right here, you're seeing it's describing this, it gives real world
Oops, we cut out.
ideas. Can't hear me?
Now we can, go ahead.
Okay. I actually took these ideas and copied and pasted a lot of the words from that chat generated here into slides and created a slide deck from the content that chat had formed here. Put this all together, and then it go farther down, because I think it actually made a suggestion on an activity. Go back up. I think in the answer to the first prompt gave me some ideas for activities to do in class.
Yeah, I did. Maybe here, ask the student, it's probably
Yes.
here, one of these.
Yeah, so go a little bit higher, number one or two on this list.
Create a positioning statement based on the provided framework.
Yeah, that's good. So it had the first prompt had given me all the main points that I need to make sure I covered. And then it also made suggested activities to do in class to help the students understand. I loved this idea of helping or doing a positioning statement workshop where you are thinking about positioning and then you create these positioning statements in order to frame your mind around the strategy you want to use for marketing. And so in this case, it's just ChatGPT gives me an idea, plants a seed. Hey, this is something you could do. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'd like to do that. Let's do more about this. And as I'm thinking about it, I realize the students, if I ask the students to do positioning statements, like, yeah, it's possible that they read the book and they'll know what to do. But my guess is that they won't. And so
I think you broke up.
right now tell them this is what a positioning statement would do. Can you hear me?
So Howie, just a second, go back to what you were saying about breaking the students up. You started breaking up after that.
All right, so I just knew that in asking the students to do positioning statements, that I was going to need to show them what those were and give them examples of it, and then we could practice doing them.
Yep.
So I asked Chat to give me down below this
Yep.
some examples of positioning statements and a basic structure. So here it gives me a basic structure of the format of a positioning statement, and then down below this it gives me several examples of well-known companies and what their positioning statements could be. And so what I did was I made slides of each of these statements and went one by one through them with the students, saying this is what a positioning statement is like. So I gave them lots and lots of examples, and then we stopped and we all
Breaking up.
and I said, okay, am breaking up again?
Yep. Try it again.
All right. So I asked them to pick a company that they had recently made a purchase of, or something that they like to make a purchase of from, and then I said, okay, now use this format and make a positioning statement for your product and that company. And they did, and I'll tell you that this exercise went so well. The students, in my class, I have several students who don't talk a lot, but on this assignment, they spoke up and they made really, really good positioning statements. They got the idea of this, and people who didn't usually talked. It was so cool. And I, like Debbie said, I was super excited about it. And I was talking to her because when something works, it's so energizing, and you see like the idea gets across to the student, and then you see things happen with the students that you're not used to seeing it happen. You know, it's happening better than before. I mean, it was just so cool. And again, I knew about this content. You know, it's not like ChatGPT taught me this. It's that Chat helped me take ideas and put them into a way that I could convey them in concise messages that I could bring into slides. Gives me some creative ideas about how to take these and make them lessons. And it's just this kind of thing has totally transformed my ability to teach, because I love getting in front of the students and working through ideas, but I need some idea about how to do that in a way that's effective, and Chat is helping me build those ideas, and it's been really fun.
Yeah. Well, Howie, and then you even talked about that you used, what was the name of the thing to do your PowerPoint with?
Gamma.
Gamma.
Yeah, Gamma is another thing that I've done.
Oops, she cut out. But yeah, you cut out, Howie. But if you guys haven't used Gamma, we'll see if Howie gets back in. You can just go to Gamma, create an account, and create it from notes or outlines. And so, whoops, Howie dropped off. Paste it there, continue.
Hello?
Yep, they're back. Yay, Howie.
Okay, good.
So we lost you at the Gamma part.
Yeah.
I went ahead and
we went in a dip.
that's fine.
So where was I?
Gamma.
Oh, Gamma. So on a different assignment, I was trying to create a something to show to the students, and I asked ChatGPT to help me form my ideas around it. This happened to be for financial statements analysis, and I created my thoughts. I got my thoughts collected and put together from ChatGPT. I actually would take ideas out of Chat, put them into Word, and I created a whole set of the words I wanted to present. And then I took all of those words and went into Gamma, and Gamma has a way where you can just drop your content into Gamma and pick a format, pick a theme, and it will generate a slide presentation for you. Now, this is what I found was that for the free version, they only will make a up to an 8-slide presentation, and that's not often very much for it. But when it does work for you, or if you're willing to pay for a few more slides, they pick pictures that go with your topic. And in fact, Gamma added a whole slide that was additional material that was helpful, that added to my content. It basically, it anticipated the kind of content that I would want to present, and put another slide in there adding to what I had done. And it was just very cool. And I always feel like this: if you make your sharp and good, then your students think you're sharp and good. And I think by association, they think that Union looks sharp and good. They think that they're getting more value from you when you look sharp. So this is something I'm starting to build more and more into my classes.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for Howie? I just know that it was so fun listening to him, and I'm glad you were able to join us here, even though you had to go to Minnesota unexpectedly. But does anyone have any questions about what Howie has talked about, or comments?
Yes. Howie, is that your favorite platform, or have you tried 2 or 3 with the same kinds of prompts to see how good they are?
I have not tried the other generative AI programs. I mean, I've only done chat and then combined it with Gamma. But I'd be curious to know if other people are finding that other platforms respond differently, and maybe some are good for one thing and some are good for another. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think there are different platforms that do different things. I have my students do a lot with Gemini, and it's working very nicely for the teacher education people making lesson plans and things. They're so surprised how fast it can go. If you tell it the right thing, it can write it for you, and your assignment's done. Right.
And I have students who are using AI to generate the content for their homework, and I am trying. I'm coming to a comfort level on it because, frankly, I'm doing it. So, and I also am talking with people in industry that are using AI to help them do their work on a daily basis. So we're counterproductive if we tell students not to use it. We just need to figure out how to have them use it and use it responsibly. And one of the things that I would tell them is, just like when I was presenting my presentation, I found that the first content it gave me, I wasn't satisfied with, and I used prompts to get it to do better. And if we can teach students that you got to be skeptical about what you're getting and ask it for better. And I think that's where you're going to get the critical thinking engaged and help them to be better users of AI.
Do you plan to have your students, and maybe you already have, tell them to go to such and such a platform and try something? Do you want them to use it as they're formulating their assignments and things like that?
I think I haven't, but I do like that idea, because I think that if we actually intentionally tell them to do this and then can guide them, I think they're going to get stronger, and we're not in this battle of I'm sneaky and I'm trying to get around whatever you're doing. Like, let's just openly do it together. I think that's going to have a better result.
I think Eric had a question or comments.
Just a comment. I used the inspiration of this Zoom to generate a course outline for a new course we're teaching in public health policy and law. And it generated a number of things that we need to consider, such as emerging legal challenges, international public health law, role of courts in public health and human rights, et cetera, et cetera. So it generated some ideas that intuitively you are aware of, but you don't always have the wherewithal when you're sitting down to write this stuff to remember everything, unless
Right.
you have the textbook in front of you and you can follow from a textbook to plan it. But I haven't selected the textbook yet, because this course won't be taught for another couple semesters, but for accreditation purposes, I have to have at least the syllabus prepared. And so this was helpful because, I mean, I've used this before, but I was just like, well, Howie's talking about using this for his course. Well, what about my course right now? And boom, it just gave me what I need.
So what did you use to do that with? What platform?
Gemini.
Gemini. Yeah.
But you all need to know, if I'm on Union's account, it won't let me do it. But I have my own Gmail account, and with my own Gmail, I can go in there and do things that sometimes the school blocks. So just FYI.
Yeah, I thought that we had opened that up for Gemini for Susan's class, but maybe I
Yeah.
need to check into it.
We can
Yeah,
get
I
to
don't know.
it.
I can't get into Gemini from my Union Union Chrome access.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
So anyways, this was helpful because you just saved me several hours of brain damage trying to think deep and hard about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But you still need to know the content though. Like, it can't be a total blow off, because I even saw some things in here and in the course description that they wrote for me. It's like, yeah, that's not really going to work 100%. So you
Right.
still have to be, a subject matter expert. You're going to have to understand what it is that's there. But like I said, it can certainly help round out the edges.
Exactly.
Gemini to clarify the question like you.
Yeah, I mean, like you saying, Eric, if you notice that there are things that are not as good as you want them, can you say, hey, Gemini, this answer isn't great. Can you clarify that? Or what, can you speak to such and such, and Gemini will then
Oops, you're cutting out, Howie.
oh, sorry. So my question is, when you notice that there are things that aren't complete in your answer, can you ask Gemini can you challenge its answer and say, isn't there more to this, and will it then give you better? Can you
Well, I will give it a try.
Yeah.
you get Gemini to do more?
Yeah, I'll see what it does.
Real time experimentation. Love
Very
it.
good. Peter
This is the
had a
lab.
comment or a question?
Well, the Gemini, when I went to the technology conference over in Omaha for K-12 schools, they were commenting that oftentimes teachers on their school accounts were not given the same latitude as they were on their personal accounts. So I think it's still a glitch in the overall system.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, it's not right now. And Susan and I specifically had them enable it. Susan, you're at home though right now. But,
Right, I'm at home.
well, okay. Something to add to my list. I will get that back enabled because it was enabled. Susan asked us probably 6 months ago to enable it. So any other questions or comments for Howie? I was going to.
I just say, I'm no expert in this. It's just, I'm trying stuff, and what I can offer is, here's what I tried, and this is what it worked for me, and if anybody can benefit from that, great. But if you guys are doing some cool stuff too, I'm sure I've got a lot more to learn.
No, we all do. Eric.
What's interesting is I retyped my question into Gemini, and the second response was not the same as the first. And it did add some more content that the first did not include. So I find that kind of interesting that they added a whole section on contemporary issues in public health law, food safety and drug regulation, constitutional foundations of public health law, and it added several more objectives that weren't there before. So I wonder how many maybe if you keep asking Gemini over and over again, it'll keep improving the question because of its collective learning that it does. So
Well, and I think for that, I've done before, I would say like, what is the top 10, objectives, and give me sources, and then it actually links you to a source, at least it does on chat, that you can click on and then go to the source and see where it's getting the information from. Has worked. I was going to say, I'm going to do one of these presentations, and Susan, I'm hoping you can give a presentation, because we all have different uses that we've had before, or what we're doing is interesting. I know what I started asking chat was to redo my assignment or come up with ideas that would actually engage college students. And I'm like, oh, so if I add basketball scores, change it, anything, they're just so excited. They just think it's the greatest thing ever. Or social media. And I'm like, okay, anyway, so I'm going to give a presentation on that. And Susan, you said you'd be willing to do one as well?
Oh, sure, I'd be happy to. I'm curious if AI will let me tell it or ask it, please make an assessment on such and such a material that AI cannot answer.
Ha! You mean
Great.
to make it so that your presentation is something that you actually want students to do without using
Right.
AI?
Right. I'm very curious how AI is so creative. It just helps you come up with all kinds of assessments for adults, which is very different from the high school level. And so I like to ask it, create an assessment about with using this material. And I want it to give me ideas for such involved kinds of questions that the AI itself can't really answer it. It can give information for the students, but the students will have to write it themselves. They have to produce whatever it is using AI if they want to, but otherwise more sophisticated than what AI can do. Because some of the assignments that I've given before last year anyway, could have been done on AI in a half a second.
Yeah.
They were just that style of assignment. So I'm rewriting my style of assignments so that AI can help, but it can't do it. It's more sophisticated. The
Well,
assignment is more sophisticated.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see that examples.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
I'll work on that.
I don't know if I can think of, for my class, it just seems like they can get most of the answers through chat. And I actually had a student, I said, but you're not going to be able to use chat on your test because I watch them. And I had one student, he didn't have a clue what to do. And he's like, I use chat. He admitted, he's like, I use chat to give me the answers to find everything. And I'm like, well, I said, I'll let you take it next week, but you have a lot of cramming to do to try to get it up. So.
I had a student recently turn in an assignment that said that I had asked them to go out and find some information, and the information or the answer I got back, the paper I got back was AI's instructions on how to do the assignment. And I still have to talk to the student, but I'm gonna have to go back and say, well, you've got some good instructions on how to do the assignment now. Now go ahead and follow those, and then you'll be in good shape. But it's, you know, it's clearly AI generated content, but it doesn't answer the question. It tells them how to go about finding or making the answer to the question.
Yeah, I had a question one
And
time.
if you would have read it, if
If
you would have read it,
know.
you would have been able to understand that it was not answering the question.
Yeah, I had a student one time, that my instructions were to make sure to put in, oops, how you lost. It said in the instructions to use a SQL command where they will insert their name into the database, and their answer was insert whatever database, ChatGPT was their name. It's like, no, that's not your name. So anyway. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. And does anyone have any other questions or comments for Howie before we leave? And have a safe trip to Minnesota, Howie. All right. Well, good. Hi, Holly.
Hi, we're 6 miles to Des Moines.
Woohoo. All right. Well, have a good trip and thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for doing this.
Yep, you're welcome. Bye.